Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 12 of Power Bombshells with Sam and Mel. We're just two broads chatting about the wrestling we're watching, which is usually a lot. and, and sometimes we are so much that we are behind, which is what we were just talking about before we started this, about how we got to get caught up on the stuff that we want to talk about. And so we will get there eventually, and we'll eventually talk to you about it. But I do want to take a quick note. We are a little bit later than we normally were. I had some family things come up over the weekend, and so we just had to postpone a little bit. So thank you for your patience with us. And, sometimes real life,
Hey, I'm going to walk on your, I don't mean to walk on your intro
no, go right
there,
ahead.
but
No, go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and do it. And the bottom line here is that you guys know that we are putting out this riveting free content. And
Exactly.
It's very important that you get it and that it is on our mind. And it's definitely like priority B or C.
Right.
But like actual life has to be priority A,
unfortunately.
Because,
apparently the world does not evolve around wrestling. I don't know why that is, but apparently that's the case.
This is what I'm saying. It's like, hey, what's going on? You're not allowed to start these tournaments right at the beginning of life.
You mean you've been waiting for weeks to watch Capital Collision? Well, and thank goodness. I will say that thank goodness we did not go live like we had discussed, because I got the information like 20 minutes after Capital Collision, so I would have had to just leave. You would have been by yourself and would not have been good. So I was like, thank goodness we decided not to go live that night.
It would have been like that scene from either Wayne's World or Scanners, depending on, because, the cross reference for old people. Okay, we do have one thing that we are we going to put the cutie up there?
Let's do.
Do you talk while the cutie's up, or?
Yeah, so they don't have to see me reading off a piece of paper or reading off the screen.
Let me make sure I'm putting the cutie up. All right.
Yes,
here it comes.
Very cute. Wow, look how cute. We were joking about how we have the cutest. We think out of the fight game media, we got the cutest little logo. So you can fight us, but it's true.
Come at those bombs.
Look at them. Look at how cute they are. Anyway, so we've talked about these a few episodes ago. So you may be somewhat familiar with POAPs, and you've probably been hearing about them. We're giving them away on various fight game media shows leading up to the Double or Nothing pay-per-view. They're completely free. The POAPs are digital tokens that show you are here to listen to the podcast with us. So that's always a good thing to prove that you actually listen to us. And the fun part is that we're giving away 3 cool prizes around Double or Nothing. Every POAP that you hold in your digital wallet is an entry. So one prize is a cameo style Q&A video with Dave Meltzer. You'll get to ask Dave a question and you will get a video answer. The second prize is a guest appearance on any fight game media show of your choice, which better be Power Bombshells.
Yeah. No pressure. Lots of pressure.
And the third prize is an official chair from night 1 of this year's WrestleMania. It's the one with the cartoon of Austin stunning Kevin Owens. So, that's a pretty cool prize. I mean, being on our show is pretty cool, but, chair sounds pretty cool too. The winner will get it shipped for free to them anywhere in the continental US. So all you have to do to claim one of these POAPs is to send an email to fightgamemedia POAP at gmail.com with the secret word collision in the subject line. You will get a link and instructions on how to mint the POAP. And so we'll put the email, we can put that down in our fancy little box so that you have that. But make sure that you get that. It's fightgamemedia at gmail.com with the secret word collision. We'll run it back again at the end before we leave so that you can get that.
I'll get it in there.
Yeah, so we'll get that for you, but definitely make sure you collect it. It's 3 really cool prizes, and so we would love to have one of our viewers win. That would be very cool.
Tell me one more time. Fight Game Media?
It's Fight Game Media POAP, POAP at gmail.com.
Perfect.
And
Because-
she's not going to put this in the thing because you have to make sure you're listening. So the secret word is collision, and put that in the subject line.
All right.
But we're not going to give that secret away. You have to watch to find out the secret
you have
word.
to watch. You don't get that one. So, there it is.
That with an A in fight game, not a S.
Oh my gosh. You would think I was doing this on the fly or something.
Wow. See, we were just talking about this too, that on the air, we're so professional. And sometimes it's really fancy and you get all the pictures and other cool things. And then sometimes you just get this, which is not as fancy, but still awesome.
This is good because this means that you're checking yourself while we are checking ourselves.
Yes, this is true.
And now you have the best chance of winning because you've made it absolutely sure.
Yes, exactly. Right. And look how cute that is. Don't you want that POAP in your collection? Just so you can look at how cute it is.
It is. That's true. I think that's true.
So, we are we are a little behind on, like, I don't know if you are, I'm behind on the last 2 episodes of Strong, but hopefully we'll get to that. And BOSJ is also happening, which I'm really excited about, but have not had a chance to start watching yet. I'm hoping, Mel and I were talking about this, we're hoping they put the individual matches up like they used to do. I know they didn't do it during the Cup, but I'm really hoping that they will just put up the individual tournament matches, so I don't have to go through. It's so much easier and convenient. Yes, please. And it makes it. Lord, Nina's microphone.
It's doing it.
This time was my fault.
It's angry. It's like, put the individual matches up. What's wrong?
Yeah, exactly. My mic wants you to do that. But yeah, it's just easier to consume. I can watch 4 or 5 matches at a time instead of having to watch all these extra stuff. Not that those extra matches aren't fun. I just, with everything else we're watching and, that thing called life happening, it would just make it more convenient. So hopefully they'll go back to that.
I like a lot of times, if I have the time, to put the show on and just kind of let it roll, and I'm good, and then I can check.
I do that sometimes too. Yeah.
But it's just not always convenient to do that.
Especially when it's a tournament and it's 3 days in a row.
Right.
And then it's off and then 2 days in a row. So it's just easier if it's all one.
I'm mad at myself because I'm like, if you get even one day off, you're screwed. And it was that's
what Nikki and I were talking about last night. And we ended up, because we're watching some other shows that are not wrestling related, but she and I are always behind on things. And so we were like, we're going to start. So we started Banner of Heaven. Banner of Heaven with Andrew Garfield, and it's a Hulu show. And we're like, okay, well, we got caught up on the episodes they had and decided we were going to start another show a week before BOSJ started. So we started The Staircase on HBO Max, which is about a case that happened in Durham, North Carolina in the early 2000s, which I vaguely remember some of it. And so, and Colin Firth is in it, and Nikki and I love Colin Firth. So we were like, we're going to watch this. And then so last night, Nikki was like, we hadn't watched the latest Banner episode, and she was like, I kind of want to watch that. Let's just see if BOSJ will put up individual. And she's like, I know we're probably going to get behind, but so that's a gamble we took last night, and we'll see how it pays off.
I've decided that I'm going to watch the matches I want to watch. I usually am okay to be able to watch every single match and do that commitment thing, but that isn't going to be a deal for me. And so it's so far I know which ones I want to watch. That, like I was telling you, I want to watch that Clark Connors match. Things like that. But sometimes I'm going to miss a few. And as it gets closer to the end, I'll be more committed.
Yeah, same.
And I mean, we do the same thing because we also have a limited amount of time, Bob and I, to watch television together anyway. So, it's, if it's not Dynamite or Rampage, honestly, I mean, that's where we're at here, is that's who gets the live time pretty much anymore, and says a lot about where we all are on.
I would agree with
commitment to.
that.
Sometimes
Yeah,
you're not in the mood. You
Yeah.
have to watch them you're in the mood for. You
Yeah.
have to go with that.
Yeah, I feel you. So, so eventually we will talk about BOSJ. Hopefully, in the next episode, we will have at least
Yeah,
caught a
I
handful of
think that we'll
matches.
have some.
And
I think I'll have some things to talk about.
Yeah, and
there
my goal
are
is to get
legitimate matches I want to watch.
yeah, and I want to get caught up on the last 2 episodes of Strong, which is funny because the Strong from Saturday night had um Jay White versus Hikuleo, where they finally face off against each other. That was taped a few weeks ago. They were tag team partners Saturday night at Capital Collision.
Yes.
So I guess they can coexist after they fight each other, even though. So we'll see what happens when Hikuleo answers the USFJ, even though I think we all know what happened. But I'm still looking forward to seeing that match. So Strong is definitely something I hope to get to this week. But we'll go ahead and get on to Capital Collision because this was a really great show. Like, I enjoyed Windy City Riot a lot, but I think I liked this show better.
I felt like they actually sort of followed through on the fact that New Japan said, we heard you from the first show, and we realized that we kind of screwed up on basically everything.
Right.
And we're actually going to take this seriously. And I felt as though they did. They got a good side, they got Alex Kozlov and Ian Rick Bonnie on the side.
Yes.
You got it was there from the beginning. Mm-hmm. There were music packages were actually coming through on
right.
the thingy.
Seemed like the audio issues were fine.
They were much better. It only timed out on me like twice, and that's normal for a Saturday night internet.
Yeah, and I ended up for some reason, I guess because Windy City Riot was at 8, I was convinced that Capital Riot started at 8. I was at a family thing earlier in the day that was unrelated to the thing that happened, why we missed the show. But it was, so I kept telling them we were like a little over an hour away, and I started trying to leave at 6:30 because I was like, we got to be back by 8 o'clock. Got to be back by 8 o'clock. I need to feed the dog anyway. We left, so we started trying to say bye, and then we started having conversations and doing everything else. So we left at 7:42. I was like, okay. So I got home when we'll get to who it is, when the surprise guest came out before the 2 main events. And so that's where I got to, and then other things. So I watched the entire show and was planning to just go back and watch the replay. And then that's when the other things happened. And so we ended up watching stuff later. But so I don't know if it was because we tuned in late and then we watched the rest later. I didn't have any problems at all with, like, there was no skipping, no kicking us out, no lost signal from the venue or anything like that. So it went really smoothly. So I hope that it went really smoothly for everybody.
No, it was great. It was actually totally watchable. And totally great. It was like from the end of someone. I was actually watching it live. At the last minute, I was like, I feel like this is on earlier than usual. And I went and checked when I bought it because I tend to buy. Even though I guess you can get app points or whatever, I still end up buying it for my PC for whatever reason. It's probably because it's logged on here, and
right.
And I'm a lazy jerk, but it's like. It was great. I felt like they actually carried this. I felt like it was much more of it was closer to like a Strong.
And it's close. Yeah, I would say that. And it seemed like it was what you expected from, I guess, a New Japan show. Like it was really not that I don't want to say the last time wasn't professional, because it was. I know that a lot of things happen outside of their control that they couldn't help. And I'm not trying to say they were unprofessional last time, but this just felt like a more efficient show. And like you said, it felt like a Strong. It felt like they had everything firing on all cylinders. So I was really glad for that. So I guess we'll go ahead and start getting into the matches. So they opened up with 2 of our favorites, our Strong boys, Ren Narita and Carl Fredericks.
This was a tough one for me because although I really was excited because I was like, okay, this is also going to be like an awesome match. And it was an awesome
match. It was very good.
it was really interesting because I listened to Carl on Fight Game Media podcast.
Yeah, I need to check that out. I was planning to get to that yesterday, and then it didn't happen. But
and he talked a little bit about, you know, wrestling with other guys from the dojo and how they've gone through some of the stuff they've gone through, and it made even more sense. It was such a good story. It was like a really great, just they started so strong. They like right out of the gate, it was like, okay, they're not effing around. They're ready to go.
And I really like that they showed, like, especially if you're not keeping up with Strong, which I don't know why you're not, but like they showed like, this is why you should be watching what we're doing. And just because we're young lions, or I think Carl has graduated from the Young Lion program, but they're like, just because, you know, we're not, you know, Okada doesn't mean that you should be paying attention to what we're doing, because, you know, we're coming. And there just shows you how well that program is working, and just being under Shibata's tutelage is like it's incredible. They're all so good. And
Carl's in the G1 conversation, it is what I would say to you. He has graduated. He is he's full heavyweight. He's there.
Oh yeah,
his
he's definitely
keeps coming up as someone that people, I mean,
well, and I was looking at like his presentation
chatter, so
yeah, and even like his presentation, because, you know, Ren is obviously still just in the plain black trunks, where he's got like he's got the jacket, and he's got the, you know, the fringe, and he's like representing his Native American heritage and all of this stuff. And he looks like, not that Ren doesn't, and I don't want to take anything away from Ren, but Carl looks ready. Like he looks like he's ready for the next stage. And so, you know, and
Ren's a little younger, and he's a huge star, and he's wrestled the crap out of, like, it was great. It was awesome.
And so we're gonna get into spoilers in this match. So I mean, on this show. So if you haven't seen, sorry. But so at one point, I really thought Ren was gonna get him. Like, I thought he was going to pull it out, and he was gonna beat Carl. Because there's just that one sequence that they did. I can't now. I apparently didn't write down any notes about the sequence, but it was really cool. And I thought he had it in the bag, and Carl he worked his way out of it, and he got the win. And it was really cool to see the respect and admiration after the match that they have for one another. And, you know, Ren held up the one finger, so they're one, because I believe they're 1-1 against, they each have a win over the other. So we're obviously going to get a rubber match at some point. So, you know, it was really great. And it was a great showing for them. And then, of course, I have in my notes the factory with a roll eye emoji next to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was kind of my reaction too. So
I should have known it was coming, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh. I was like, apparently QT did not get the message the last time that he was harassing people from the dojo, but here he is trying again, and it was him and Nick Camarado and Aaron Solo, and he was running his mouth, and I don't think I really listened to what he said, because it was the same things he always
Sam's
says.
a huge QT Marshall fan.
Listen, I don't hate him. Like, he's good at what he does. I don't but he doesn't. I'm just like, it's the same thing. I know what he's doing. He's harassing them, and I don't know why he's convinced that Carl Fredericks would ever, or Ren Narita for that matter. Let me leave.
I mean, I guess if you're that guy, don't you have to try?
Yeah. Yes.
You might win one once in a while.
You might. I guess you don't know if you don't ask. So, you know.
Well, yeah, and he needs all the. I mean, he needs all the help he can get, really. So I think it's like you got.
Yeah, where the factory? Did they have a match the next night in Philly? Were they on that card?
I think they do have something going on. They keep adding stuff to the Philly thing, and I'm like, cut it out.
Yeah, because the Philly show was not live. Like, we couldn't watch that. It was taped, and so it'll be, I guess it's airing as Strong later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was not a live thing, even though we do know what happened. Which I knew was gonna happen. Like, I figured if I didn't see it from
anybody, time traveling.
Stop. Yeah, so I was like, somehow it'll pop up and I'll figure out what happened. But yeah, so the next match was fun. It was Team Filthy with our boy, Filthy Tom Lawler.
Yeah.
And he faced off against Fred Rosser, DKC, Uemura, Finley, and Tongaloa. And so it was basically strong versus strong. That was a really, I enjoyed this match. I thought it was
I did too. I
thought
thought
it
there
was
were
a
a
nice
lot of
showcase of
one-on-ones that had good stuff in them.
yeah, and it another, like, if you're not watching Strong, like, you got to see a variety of people who have been carrying Strong, how they work well together, the two, I guess, factions, even though I guess Fred Rosser's thing is sort of a faction. They don't have a faction name or anything like that, but it's basically them. It's basically Strong versus Team Filthy is basically what it is. Yeah. But it was a really great match, and it was funny. I did write this note down that apparently Alex called he called Tom Lawler the king of strong and the king of denim, which is very accurate.
Oh, we love the George.
We do.
They are the greatest.
They are really great. And then this time he had, like, on his vest, he had like these teal, like, sequin stripes down the back of them, and he had matching fringe, and so he looked
another guy that's in the G1 conversation.
Yes.
What's going on with that? Jeez,
that
all
would
these
be
guys.
That would be nice to see.
I think that the Japanese fans are gonna love Tom Lawler.
Yeah, I think some
Really
people are a
do.
little hesitant about him, but I'm like, I think once you see him, I think the fans would, because he's just so over the top, and he's loud, and he's a really good heel. He's very good at what he does. So I think, and then his gear definitely makes, obviously his outfits and his gear make him stand out. So I think that he would be great. So I'd love to see him in the G1.
It's this like FU charisma, like, where you're like, dude, really? All right, I guess so. Fine. And then he can kick ass. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's good. I think it's gonna work.
I think so too.
Not exactly Moxley, because it's more unique than that. It's like a separate thing, but I think they'll like it.
Yeah, I really do. I think so too. And then I do have in the note, Team Filthy, of course, got the win, because why wouldn't they? And we did see a little bit of foreshadowing between Tom Lawler and Fred Rosser, who had a match the following night in Philly. If you're not watching Strong, Rosser has been chasing Tom Lawler in his title for about a year now, and he's been trying to get a title shot, and Tom keeps finding ways to not let that happen. And then finally he agreed they would give him a title shot, and if Fred Rosser loses, then he has to leave Strong.
Right.
And so that was a nice little thing. And then apparently we found out from the Fight Game Media Slack that Sunday, when the match was happening, was Filthy Tom's birthday. So he may have lost his title on his birthday, or he may have retained. So if you have not seen the results yet, you will find out. I don't know when this match will air, but hopefully soon, because I really enjoy them. So I think that, it'll be a really good match. And from something I saw, it looks like it was also a bloody match.
I think it's been really good.
Yeah. And then so after the match, and Danny Limelight was attacked by David Finley with the shillelagh that he's been carrying. He's had the shillelagh. So it looks like we're probably getting a match between them coming up soon. So that should be interesting. Danny Limelight, of course I love David Finley, but Danny Limelight is really good. I really like him. I've enjoyed seeing him when he was doing AEW stuff too. So I'm glad that he's found a home with Filthy Tom and his gang. Let's see. So the next match was Chase Owens versus the greatest Okan, who should win all matches forever.
I was like, I think at one point I looked at him and I was like, I mean, we're talking about a guy whose finishing move is a package pile driver. Of course he's gonna lose. Like, he can't.
Well, yeah. When you put it that way, yeah. So this was
I'm not, I love the package pile driver.
Yeah.
Chase Owens is just like, it's so weird. He's like, I because of, I think it was a Best of Super Juniors at some point, probably, or another tournament. I had no idea who he was, and then he was in the tournament, and I knew exactly who he was. I knew way too much about it. I was like, why do I know his music and his finishing move? And I'm like, I haven't seen you in forever.
So yes, and he came out with, and because I keep forgetting that he has the tag title that he took from Great O'Con.
Right.
Yes, and so Chase won their match. They had a pretty solid match. Then the next match was TMDK with Bad Dude Tito versus United Empire. This was another. It had a lot going on, but it was I enjoyed this match. I thought it was really good. And I think the biggest part of this match was when Jonah and Jeff Cobb were in the ring at the same time. They were facing opposite directions, and they ended up back to back, and the crowd lost it. Like, they went nuts.
I lost it.
Yes. I was like, give it to me. Two big meaty men slapping me.
It was okay. I mean, this one I was like less impressed with than I was the earlier one with so many. But when this happened, I was like, oh.
Yeah. That definitely got everybody's attention, and so they did finally square off a little bit, and I can't wait to see a full-blown match between the two of them.
Dude, though, that's the scariest part, is like, it's like, yes, they are that size, but they can also do flips.
Yeah. They can do all kinds.
They can do chops and flips.
Yes, they can both do a lot, and they can like basically mirror image each other in that match. It's gonna be
a crazy
match. That's gonna be a really good match.
Wait.
Yeah, and so TMDK won, and then after the match, they officially added Bad Dude Tito to TMDK. I think they gave him a shirt or something, and they officially welcomed him in, which he should be, because even before Shane Haste, and so they got Mikey Nichols back, who I don't think he's been in New Japan for a while, if I remember correctly. But so Bad Dude Tito and Jonah have been doing stuff, just the two of them, and they are really good just by themselves. And then, they have the TMDK thing. So Bad Dude Tito is the American in the Aussie group. That was cool to see. I really like Bad Dude Tito. The more I see of him, the more I like him. So I think he's a pretty cool guy. And then the next match was Brody King versus Ichiban, Minoru Suzuki.
Yep.
And the fans.
Speaking of Ichiban, I realized during this entire show that Ian Riccaboni has apparently never seen the Ichiban before, because he made all night long was like, people keep using the number 1 sign at each other, and I just don't get it. Apparently, his ability to understand the middle finger is in line with Kevin Kelly's ability to have a functioning monitor during a low blow. He wouldn't let it. I was like, why does he keep bringing it up? It's like, it was so funny. It was like the like Black Tiger number 8.
I was waiting on Alex to work that in somehow. Like, Black Tiger wasn't on this card, but I was like, he's gonna work it in somehow.
Ian Riccaboni had his back with having never seen anyone use the Ichiban, including during the Ichiban's match. Suzuki-gun.
Very interesting.
It was a good match, and this was a good match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one.
I wasn't sure where I was going to land on this, and then I was like, it's a Minoru Suzuki match.
Yeah, exactly. And after, because before the match, when Brody King said that he wanted Minoru was famous. He responded, "Who the hell are you?" Well, I think he knows now. He definitely does, and the crowd scene. So they were really into it, especially they got the Murder Grandpa chant coming.
It's one of my favorites.
They got it coming through loud and clear.
having been there to experience one. And now I hear them everywhere.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I think that Suzuki kind of likes it.
Oh, he
Because
has
when I
to.
was in the place and I was actually watching his face, it was almost like he almost was like a little smile there. That's
Just
funny.
a tiny little one.
I
Listen,
just
from
kinda
Suzuki,
love
that's all
that.
you need.
It was wonderful.
Yeah. So, and surprisingly, Brody King got the win here. So
I
I thought
know,
that was
right?
huge for Brody. And I was like, I guess that's what I get for assuming that Suzuki's just going to win every match that he's in, or at least every match in the United States. Cause I feel like, oh, well, he's here, as a guest and people, or he's Minoru Suzuki. He's
Right.
just going to win every match. And I'm fine with that. And so I was expecting it. And then Brody was like, oh no, I told you. This is who the hell I am, and you will never forget me now. So that was, I really enjoyed. I thought it was, like you said, that like I like Brody King, but this match, but I wasn't sure where it was going to go with somebody like Suzuki, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good match.
I like seeing Brody King step up and do more of Minoru Suzuki's style of match and not just relying on his size and his monsteriness. And
because I mean, there were a few times that Suzuki like had him like in rear naked chokeholds, and he was like gasping, and his arms are flailing about, like, so he definitely wrestled a Suzuki match, which was really cool.
It was good stuff.
Yeah. So the next match was was Eddie Kingston versus Ishii. Eddie Kingston came out wearing bandage to show to keep the story going from being hit with a fireball on Dynamite 3 weeks ago now. so last week when they showed him on Dynamite, the cameras were pulled back far enough, but it looked like they had like some red like makeup around his eye. He did, luckily, they saved his magnificent eyebrows. So I know that was a big concern for the people, but they're still intact.
Thank God.
So, but then even better than that, he came out in a Mr. Brody Lee shirt. So I loved that.
That was great. Was good stuff.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And then, so Ishii versus him, it was a lot of what you expect, a lot of chopping, a lot of aggression. They were toe-to-toe all match long. This was my favorite match of the night. I thought it was a lot of fun. It lived up to expectations for me, or actually probably surpassed them a little bit. I thought that was, because I knew going into it, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. They're just going to beat the shit out of each other, which is pretty much what they did. They definitely more than delivered with that, and I enjoyed it.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I enjoyed this one the most, and I think it was the pace of them beating the shit out of each other and not worrying about, like, they were able to continue doing. Eddie King stepped up.
Yeah,
like, he was in a match that they were making this point on the ringside, but it was like he really did get to have a match that he probably wouldn't have gotten to have if we hadn't had the last few years.
Right.
And he wanted that match.
Yeah, and you can see, because he has so much reverence for what Japanese wrestling is and the people involved in it. And so I think that just inspires him to take himself to another level, to even, be on the same footing as them. And so I think he definitely, not that he doesn't pride himself in his other matches, but you can just see that there's a different level. It's kind of like when we've talked about Mox before, where like he's a certain wrestler in AEW, he steps it up a little bit in New Japan, and then he's like a whole other level when he's in GCW or on the indies. Like, it's these different
shades.
Yeah. And it shows that they're not these just like one-dimensional wrestlers. They can do all of these things, and certain opponents bring out certain things in them, and they want to, and I think Eddie wants the Japanese fans to like him and to see that he does respect Japanese wrestling, and he wants to do right by them. And so I thought it was really good, and the fans were really into it.
Yeah, they were. This crowd actually, shout out to this crowd, making it sound like a big show. I mean, I don't know what size of that venue was, but those crowds, that crowd was into that show. And it was awesome.
It was really cool. So I thought, just
the
kudos
whole
to the
atmosphere
fans
was
just making it
really good at this show.
Yeah, you could tell they were super into like everything. Like they really enjoyed it. But yeah, this match they just like were they were really into it. And I think just because they probably knew what we did, that what coming into it, what to expect, and it was and it, like you said, the pacing was really good. I think it just turned into like a fun match. Real, and it was really good. So I really enjoyed this one. So right after this, we got a surprise guest who we haven't seen in New Japan in a while. Actually, we haven't seen in wrestling in just a little bit. So hometown boy Lio Rush made an appearance, which is so that's when I turned it on, he was already in the ring. And I think he had just started talking. So it was really, I love Lio Rush. I think he's fantastic. I saw him back in 2017, I think it was, when he did the Ring of Honor was doing their it was like their futures thing. I can't remember the exact name of it, but they were bringing in like up and coming wrestlers. And so we were at a taping. And so we got like 4 shows, and I got to see Lio a couple of times that night. And I was impressed with him right away. And then he came to PWX a couple of times. And then, he went to, and then I saw some of the indie stuff he did. Like with everything he's done with Blake Christian has been phenomenal. And then I saw and then obviously his WWE stint, and then just everything after that. And I wish he had been in AEW longer, but it just, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. But I'm glad that he's still going, because I think he's super talented. And I'm looking forward to see, and he was calling out specific names, and of course I did not write down all the names that he called out, and but he called out Ishimori, I know for sure, Robbie Eagles. I think there was like 1 or 2 other ones. So clearly the Super Juniors is what he has.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to make his case to get in with the Super Juniors. And,
and he said he is not cleared yet, but he is getting there.
Yeah.
And then they invited him to be on commentary for the last 2 matches, which was cool to hear just, how he reacted to things. And so I really, I hope they clear him soon, because I would like to see what he does in New Japan, and I'd love to see him. BOSJ would be something that he would be awesome at, so I'm looking forward to see him just even outside of BOSJ, just mixing it up with some of the Super Juniors there, because he wrestled. He did some strong stuff though, didn't he?
He may have. He was very up and down. He had a lot of things go on in his life. Yeah. And I think that it was hard to follow where he was at. I feel like he's got such great charisma, and he definitely has the athleticism, and it would be great to see him sort of get that refined down, and actually of course, if you're going to spend time in New Japan and take it seriously, you're going to get those things out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I feel like I really want to say, before I stopped watching regularly,
I think he did a
little bit. Yeah, and I think was
he kind of bounced around a lot.
Was he in the tournament for the strong title early? I feel like he was in it early on, and then got
because I wasn't being as studious about watching.
I was sort of keeping up. Yeah, and then I was also coming in and going out. I know, of course, Mox. Anytime Mox was on there, I tuned in. But I feel like Lio was there. But anyway, regardless, I think he would be a really great addition to Strong or New Japan, and whatever he does. And I think, like you said, having the discipline and getting that, he's definitely going to get probably a lot that he may not have even gotten necessarily in AEW, because AEW has a lot of people and they have a lot going on. And so, I hope that this is a good fit for him, wrestling wise and, mentally and things like that. So I hope that this, and maybe that schedule will be something that works, something that's more conducive to what it is that he needs. But he's a great talent, and I really am looking forward to seeing whatever he ends up doing in Japan. Then, so the next match was originally going to be Okada and Trent Beretta versus Hikuleo and Jay White. And then it was announced on Friday, I believe, that
Trent, really late, or Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was super late.
It was so... But anyway, that Trent Beretta had COVID.
Which also I watched BTE today, and Christopher Daniels has been doing a bit. So he and Adam Cole, there's a so if you don't watch BTE, there is a BTE title where they wrestle for this title, and they don't wrestle, they just do fun,
random
dumb
crap.
little things. So like they've done. So Adam Cole held the title for a little bit, and then he lost it to Christopher Daniels.
His reaction
to losing, his reaction to losing was so funny. Like he slumped down in his chair, like he was legitimately sad that he lost this BTE title, and he was so upset with it because they played blackjack, and I think if I remember correctly,
he never played the rules.
No, he didn't understand the rules. He had never played it before.
No idea how to play blackjack,
and he lost it. Like it was really close. Like it came down to like he almost kept his title, and so Christopher Daniels won it. And then they played the next week. They played rock paper scissors for it, or RSP as Adam Cole calls it. And he was talking about how he's some like divisional champion at RSP or RPS. I'm sorry, rock paper. Yeah. And so Christopher Daniels had the title for 1 week, and then he got it back. So today they were supposed to wrestle again, or not wrestle, but they were supposed to have another title match. But Christopher Daniels tested positive for COVID, and it shows him, and he's sitting there. Well, he's playing blackjack by himself, like I guess preparing for their battle.
Future blackjack.
And then he's coughing, and there's like a Lysol next to him, and he's like, oh no. So he goes to the bathroom and he takes a COVID test, and so he shows like swirling his nose and doing the little droplets, and then waiting 15 minutes and then he shows the test, and it says, and he's like mad because he's like because it was his title shot or his title rematch, and it said to be continued. So we hope those guys get better soon. But yeah, so Rocky ended up replacing Okada, and it was a really fun match. I enjoyed it a lot. Anytime that Rocky and Okada get together, is always a good time.
They are best friends.
They are best friends. So, and speaking of best friends, Rocky did a little tribute to Trent. He did the what is that move? The soul. Wait, was it soul food that he did? Or no? What was it?
You're better at that stuff than me. So
I know it. It's one of Trent. I don't know why I can't think of it off the top of my head, but he did a nice little tribute to him, which was cool to see. So yeah, and one thing I noticed when I was watching this match, like as soon as Okada's face popped up on the screen, the crowd went nuts and they're chanting Okada's name. And I was thinking, I was like, this must be so different for him because he's been wrestling in Japan for the last couple years during the pandemic, where they can't chant his name. They can chant inside their hearts and they can clap along to get the name out. They're doing their best to be into it. So I was like, this is probably the first time he's heard a crowd chant his name in over 2 years. And then the crowd is, so then he looked so happy, and the fan there, he was, hitting fans' hands. And I was like, that's, he hasn't been able to do that in a long time. And then I found out because I was, one of my site editors over at Daily DDT, Raphael, was there, and he saw my tweet because I was talking about how, the people were chanting for him, and he got to hit their hands, and how what a feeling that must be for him. And he said, I don't know if the camera caught it, but I was the last hand he hit before he went up the stairs. And so Nikki missed most of that match. And so we went back and we rewatched it last night, and I paused it, I had to like rewind it and pause it, but I saw Raphael just close enough, and I was like, that's a really cool thing to just, you got to touch Okada. But yeah, so that was really cool. I really enjoyed this match. Jay and Okada, they're so much better. I mean, their stuff is always good, but because there's so much has improved with them in the last couple of years, that they're even better wrestlers, which is insane because they're both they're already good then, and they're even better now. And so Jay and Hikuleo got the win. And then they decided they were going to beat down Okada because, of course, they got Jay got the sling blade. I mean, not the sling blade, the Blade Runner in. And then, so then, I guess Rocky was like, I don't remember. I guess they like beat him up too, or he was for whatever reason, he was not there. But Tongaloa came out and he was talking to Hikuleo and was like, he said, I told you not to turn your back on family. And so Hikuleo decides that he's gonna turn around and he's gonna too sweet Jay. I was like, so bad.
Bullet Club.
They are not fine.
You just Bullet Club.
Just Bullet Club doing Bullet Club things, I guess.
Bullet Club's gonna Bullet Club.
Yes. But yeah. So we get Jay versus Okada at Dominion, right?
I think that's
official?
where it is. Yeah, they keep like making reference to Dominion matches, and I'm like, would you go look and see? There's clearly a card for this.
Yeah.
So
apparently
there's a tag match that's for the titles. So and I think that's what it's going to be, is those two for the title.
I believe that is what is coming. And then, so the main event was fun. I enjoyed this main event. It was for the Iwgp US Championship. Tanahashi is the interim champion. He wrestled newly heel Juice Robinson, which we forgot to talk about on the last episode. I remembered afterwards. I was like, damn it, why didn't we talk about that? And then, of course, our boy Jon Moxley was in this match, and Will Ospreay, who still seeking a title.
Who keeps getting titles just stolen away from him.
Poor Will Ospreay.
It's just, why? He still has his Rev Pro belt.
Yeah, he has that, but apparently that's not good enough. He wants to be Will 4 belts.
I want someone to steal that belt from him so bad just to see the tantrum. Is that
That's
wrong?
A fantastic idea. No, it's not wrong. That's hilarious, and somebody needs to do it.
He's been leaning so hard into everyone stealing my titles.
I need Shooter to come get it. Shoot us in Rev Pro. Let him go get it.
Actually, perfect.
Mox can send him. Mox can send Shooter to come get the belt. See, we can write this.
And he'll throw a big tantrum about it, and it'll be hilarious.
It will be. So I enjoyed this match. As you know, there's a lot going on, and at one time the camera completely missed something because they were on Tana and Juice, and they completely, like, you can just see Ospreay falling, and everybody's like, and you can hear,
you heard the reaction of the crowd, and you like saw that something went on, but then you were like, what just happened?
Yeah, and they were like, we're gonna try to get a replay for you.
Yeah, he even said it. He said it right on there. And
then at the end of the match, they were like, I was like, hey, we never got the replay. And I was like, and bless the camera people, they were doing their best, but there was so much happening. And when you have those four, there's always something going on. Like, there's never a moment's peace.
That's tough.
They are always. Oh, and also I forgot to say, because Tiger Hattori was on hand to present the title. So that was very cool to see. So I enjoyed this match. I thought it was a lot of fun. And so Juice Robinson became 3-time IWGP US champion, which is kind of what I figured. As soon as he turned heel, I was like, oh, they're going to put the US title back on him to solidify him being a heel and to solidify Bullet, because, Bullet Club is racking up titles like they're the Bloodline. but there's so many of them, so there's not quite enough belts to go around because there's so many of them, because Scott Norton's part of them now, so but I
keep forgetting and being reminded.
Yes, Scott Norton is part of this. So I don't have a problem with Juice winning it. Of course I love Tanahashi, but I don't think there's really anything that will make me boo Juice Robinson. He can try. He can try, because we talked about it after on Windy City Riot when we thought he was leaving. And so I was reading, Sports Illustrated had an interview with him that they put out in the middle. I mean, I think it came out earlier, but it got tweeted. I saw it because it was tweeted during Dynamite, and I actually stopped and read it because I didn't want to forget. So he was talking about, he really was on the way out of New Japan, and he said he was close to signing somewhere else, but he didn't want to. He wanted to stay in Japan. He didn't say where he was going, who he was going to sign with, but he just said he didn't want to. And then I guess at the last minute, something came together and he was able to re-sign. He did say that his contract goes into 2023, but he said he doesn't want to go into the details. He's trying to keep it close to the sleeve, which I get. So I'm just glad we get to see him through 2023, especially because we thought maybe he was going to be taking time off.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't going to be wrestling at all. And
yeah, so I'm glad to see it. I think Hill Juice will be a lot of fun. I mean, because Babyface Juice is a blast. So
he's always fun.
yeah, so we talked. So in that episode, we got you got the Juice Love Fest from us. He's fantastic, and it made me laugh because so in the thing he talked about, because he made some reference to it at the speech at the end of Capital Collision, but he said something about how he's the booster, he's the shot in the arm. And so there's a quote, and I should have written down the exact quote, but he said something, he like, forget Moderna and forget Pfizer, I'm the boost in the arm that you need, or that the Bullet Club needed, or something along those lines. And it's like, that's not a very Hill thing to say because it comes off cheesy, but it was really I laughed when I read it. I was like, oh juice. So he made a reference to it at the end of the night when he talking about being, so he didn't say the shot specifically, but he said, I'm the boost in the arm that the Bullet Club needed.
Yeah,
which is true. I think
yeah,
he's not wrong. But yeah, so I think he'll do
not evil, no offense, evil, but
no.
sorry, man.
Yeah,
it's not all your fault, but
yes. And so he said, now no more flamboyant Juice Robinson. He is rock hard. And I was like, it makes me laugh when he says it. I was like, Juice, I know what you're trying to say. However, and then also, because Jake Hager said it last year when they were doing the, think before the Blood and Guts match, he kept saying it. And I was like, oh my God, please stop, or I'm going to throw up.
Stop it. Just stop.
But then he quit, and now Juice is saying, and I was like, oh, Juice, why? But I don't care. I will still wear my flamboyant shirt. He's just going to have to get over it. I mean, I'm sure he's going to come out with a rock hard shirt. I don't know if I will wear a rock hard shirt. We'll see.
I can't imagine why.
We'll see. I mean,
if it had like a cool design on it,
yeah,
tiny, it's just.
Yeah, we'll have to see, because some of those shirts are a little out there. And then I just try not to buy Bullet Club shirts because don't really need to wear shirts with AR-15s on them. It's like, I don't really want to wear those. So I'm like, can you come up with some other Bullet Club designs that are a little bit less not aggressive?
Bullet Club, they can.
I know they can't.
And you shouldn't be buying Bullet Club stuff anyway.
Well, that's true. That is true.
You should be buying Okada stuff or Suzuki stuff.
You are correct about that.
Actually, some of the Suzuki stuff that's on the Totokan shop I'm like, I want that. Okay.
Yeah.
I cannot actually. That is a place that I'm not allowed to like send, because I would like. I want that one. And I want that one. And
take my money. Like literally those take
all
my money
gifts.
No,
I need
it. Just where that kid's throwing the money out the window.
Yeah. That's one of these days I'm going to get to Japan and I'm going to go there for real. And it's going to be like Disneyland or something.
Right? Yes. Where did you blow all of your money? When you go to Japan, please make sure that you bring an extra $500 so that you can buy merch. I didn't buy any cool souvenirs.
Everyone else like this. I'm like, this is my merch budget, and I have to stick to it.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it's hard to. Yeah, you have to, especially because when you're seeing it in person, it's even different because you can touch it.
That would be. I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
it's bad enough when you're just like scrolling through the.
Yeah.
I can't even.
Because then you're so excited and you're like, I need it. I need to buy it, and then you end up with 12 shirts. They're all black.
I try and stay away. Unfortunately, I have a white dog, so I tend to stay away from the black shirts.
Which is difficult because there are a lot of black wrestling
that's
shirts.
what I mean. It is a pretty common color, so I just kind of.
I understand.
But every once in a while, you get like a fun color or something.
Yeah, I was like,
Keith Lee did a pink shirt that I wore once.
That's cool.
That I love.
Yeah, and I saw Chris Bay he released some shirts a couple of weeks ago, and one was like the purple one sold out like really quickly. I was like, wow, I wonder why.
People are into it.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, so this match was fun. We're definitely I saw a part. I didn't see the whole thing afterwards, but I did see where Mox basically was just like, he still wants Tana. So I think we're getting that match probably at Forbidden Door, which is kind of what we thought all along. But yeah, I think that match is definitely happening. He wants him some Tana.
Yeah.
And Tana keeps ignoring him. It's like, I'm busy doing other things. But now he has no interim title, so he doesn't have an excuse anymore. He has to he's gonna have to face Moxley at some point, and I think that's coming at Forbidden Door. Even though they could probably they did Mox and Ospreay at Windy City Riot, but I think I'm guessing Ospreay is gonna set his eyes on Juice now because Juice has the title. He has we all know about him and his title, so I guess that's probably coming next. That'll probably be a Dominion thing.
Yeah, I think probably a Dominion thing.
Yes. But yeah, so overall, I really enjoyed this show. There wasn't a bad match on the card. I enjoyed everything. So I thought it was.
No, I thought it was much better than, not much, but I don't, again, right. I'm not burying Windy City Riot, but thanks for the upgrade. Thanks for paying attention, and keep doing what you're doing, because then we can enjoy the full show the way that we should be.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think this was.
Yeah, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to see. I don't know how they're doing the Philly show. Like if they're showing all of the matches somewhere or just the strong matches.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I haven't heard how they're doing that. I just kept hearing that we will get the Fred Rosser Tom Lawler title match at some point. So I assume it's going to be. I'm sure it's going to be on a strong. Because they did the Mutiny is what they're on now, and I think they filmed like 3 or 4 episodes, which is what they typically do. So it might be. But I don't know how long they can keep that in the bag about, especially because we've already seen what happened. And obviously people are there, so they're not going to be quiet about it. So it won't come from any official accounts probably anytime soon, but fans will probably start chatting.
But it is around, so.
Yeah. So I guess we will do the POAP again real quick. We'll pop that back up there for you guys to make sure that you get the info you need. Look how pretty it is. You know you want one. It's free. So again, the prizes are, and they'll be around Double or Nothing. So just a couple of weeks away. Not very far away at all. So the prizes again are one prize is a cameo style Q&A with Dave Meltzer, where you get to ask Dave a question and he will respond via video. The second prize is a guest appearance on Powerbombshells or any other fight game media show of your choice. We will not hold it against you if you don't come here, but we would love to have you. And then the third prize is the official chair from night 1 of this year's WrestleMania. It's a cartoon of Steve Austin stunning Kevin Owens, which that's a pretty cool. All the prizes are cool, but that one I think would be really fancy. And so all you have to do to get one of these lovely POAPs is to email Fight Game Media with an A, not an S, POAP@gmail.com, and use the secret word collision in the subject line so that they know that you came from our show and so that they send you the correct POAP. And then you'll get a link and instructions on how to mint the POAP, and then you are entered into winning one of those awesome prizes. And we hope that one of our viewers is the one who wins.
Yes, we do.
Yes. So I think that pretty much wraps it up this week. Again, thank you for being patient with us, for being a little late. We are filming this later on Monday evening, so I don't know if it will be up on Monday night. It might be Tuesday when you see this.
It'll be up when it's up, and you guys will like it.
Exactly what Mel said. So we should be back at our normal, depending on how life goes. We should be back at our normal time next Sunday with episode 13.
And you know how you'll know is that you can follow us right there, and you'll know exactly when we drop.
Yes, and also real quick, thank you for those of you who voted in our very scientific polls about who the jokers were, even though some of you did not follow instructions and you clicked other but did not reply who your other guest was. Even when I quote tweeted it and called you out for it, you still
baby steps. Baby
you still
steps.
didn't.
They're very scientific. Twitter polls are very scientific.
Twitter told me, it was funny because Twitter was like, good job, 30 people saw your tweet. And I was like, well, must not have been the ones who voted other because they sure didn't reply after I called them out on Twitter. But yeah, so we'll see on Wednesday who it is, and if you people were correct, or if we're all swerved. And so we'll be back next week, and like she said, and then also make sure you subscribe to Fight Game Media's YouTube channel so that you can see our content and all the other sweet content that is put out for you for free, and people work really hard, so come support them and come support us, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye.